All right, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Trail Signs. I am Ghost Mule, as you know, and today I have a really awesome guest. A lot of people in the outdoor creator community will know this gentleman because he is probably one of the most supportive person out there of most of our channels. It's always amazing to me every time I put a video out. Within the first 10 minutes, I've usually got a comment from him. And so it's always great to have his support. And so that's Jerry, trail name hashtag from Tangent Trails. How are you doing tonight, Jerry?
Doing good. Hey, hey.
Awesome. Great. Thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. I was really excited about this because I've been following on your journey that we're going to talk about tonight. But you just got off of what trail did you just get off of, Jerry?
Colorado Trail.
Awesome. So yeah, hashtag was doing a through hike of the Appalachian Trail. The Colorado Trail. And so it's been really cool to see that and kind of follow his progression on that. And I did start watching your videos. I'm a little bit behind because I've had my own recent adventure that I've just completed that I was getting ready for. But yeah, I just thought it'd be fun to get on here and talk to you a little bit about your experience.
Talk away.
All right. So yeah, I guess just kind of let's start from there. Tell us a little bit about your experience or your adventure. What did you get into while you were on the trail?
Well, it was about everything I was expecting. It was pretty wet. This is a wet year on trail, the monsoon season. But I put up with it. There was like 2, 3, 4 days at a time where we couldn't have any chance to dry anything out because it just stayed overcast all day. So that's packing up the tent, packing up the gear wet, setting it up wet, and just living with it.
Yeah, that makes for a tough experience on trail sometimes. It's one thing if you get like a rainstorm here and there, but you're able to dry out. But man, when you're just constantly wet all the time, that can be a real morale suck. Did that seem to affect you too much while you were out there? Or?
Well, it affected the views because I vlogged the trip and I was hoping for a little bit better views. And in the first part of the hike, there was a lot of smoke from out of state, forest fires and stuff like that. But no, I had a blast. It was challenging. It's the hardest thing I've ever tried, but you know,
Yeah, it sounds like it. So remind me, how long is the Colorado Trail?
485 miles.
Wow, that is a lot. I think the most I've ever done in one sitting is 110. So how many miles did you complete?
I got about 150 something done. Well, let's put it this way. I've got 127 left.
Okay.
So I'll go back and finish up that in July, this next July.
Awesome. So yeah, so you did get off trail a little bit early, but man, it's still an amazing accomplishment to do what you did, and it was awesome to follow along. So why did you want to hike the Colorado Trail? Was there anything you were hoping to gain from the trail?
Well, I've been wanting to, I've been interested in the Continental Divide Trail for years, and I knew I'd never be able to do all that at my age, or I didn't feel like I could. So I guess about 6 or 7 years ago, a friend told me about the Colorado Trail and said, well, that's some of the most beautiful parts of Colorado and the CDT. And I read a book on it, and it was actually a guy who bikepacked the trail that I read the book about. I thought, well, this is something I might could do. And so I kicked it around in my head for a long time. And my wife this last year said, go ahead and do it. So she gave me the clear on it. So it was on.
Awesome. Cool. And so yeah, you're just basically looking to kind of get that through trail experience with maybe not quite as long of a commitment of 6 months.
Well, exactly. And I backpack a lot in the San Juans, but I've never backpacked deep into Colorado. And so I thought, this is my opportunity.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like it was everything you had hoped for, except maybe a little bit wetter. Um,
Didn't plan on getting injured, but I knew I had that risk because I had hurt my knee back in March in Arkansas on the Washita Trail, and I had worked ever since then to strengthen my knee, and it was pretty strong. But that last 100 and something miles, it either just gave out from overuse or I just wore out my knee brace. I don't know which one. I go to the doctor next week to find out exactly what's going on with it because I got to get this taken care of.
Yeah, hopefully it's not anything too severe. Unfortunately, you hear a lot about people who, you know, eh, you can prepare for a lot of different things on the trail, a lot of contingencies, but those injuries, it's unfortunate because they do come along, and unfortunately they do cost a lot of people to have to get off the trail. So yeah, sorry that happened to you, but again, hopefully it won't be anything too serious.
Yeah, I thought at first, your natural thing is just to push through it. And I thought, nah, because it's going to do more damage to it. So,
Yeah, it's a fine line between powering through the type 2 fun and causing permanent damage to yourself, uh, especially as hikers kind of age, for me, like I'm kind of in the same boat as a runner. I didn't become a runner until I was in my 40s. And I just finished a half marathon, which is mind-boggling to me that I was
yeah,
able to do that. But part of it is that I have to be very careful, not to push those injuries through. And you know, it's one thing to do if you're, in your 20s and you're in the prime of your life, and you can your body can rebound a little bit better. But as we get older, it just doesn't bounce back quite as quickly. And so good on you for being able to listen to your body and say, hey, it's more important to me to be able to continue this in the future than to try to put it all on the line for just one experience.
yeah. I turned 63 on the trail. So,
Oh, well, happy birthday.
yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. And it's really interesting too, because I think that especially in this day and age with social media and everything, there's a lot of you know, debate about through hikers, if they're still a through hiker, if they get off the trail early. Personally, I think, what you've accomplished is awesome and definitely is a through hike and should count. But have you encountered anybody that kind of gave you a little bit of shade for getting off the trail early at all?
No, not really. Of course, Snack Box didn't want me to quit.
I'm
He's
sure he didn't.
he was just like he was like, "Wait for me to catch up to you, or I sit down." But I realized when I got off at Spring Creek Pass that next morning I woke up and just couldn't put any weight on it, and I wasn't even going to be able to walk to the other end of town to resupply. So the hardest thing was trying to get off trail, was to actually get a ride where I needed to be to get me back to my truck in Durango, and actually Tiff with Love Dogs came through for me and found a ride to get me from Lake City to Silverton. So she saved my bacon.
That's awesome. Yeah, she's an awesome person. She also wanted me to tell you hi, by the way. I was just texting her right before I
Okay,
got on here.
hey Tiff.
Yeah. No, she is definitely an amazing person. And it's great that she was able to help you out. So and that's again, like I said it before, and part of the reason why I do this is the community that I've seen build up around this hobby is just amazing. So it's really awesome to have all these friends of distance that I haven't necessarily met, but mutual friendships that really work out. So I could definitely understand, Snack Box being probably a little bummed. I know you guys have had lots of conversations and getting up to the CDT with him out there doing his film project. So, but yeah, again, I think you made the right call. It's definitely something that could be the difference between having a temporary having to stay off trail versus being permanently off trail. So,
Well,
kudos to you.
I'll knock it out in July. That's 127 miles. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I have nothing but faith in you in that one. So, good luck on that. Um, so my next question is, I've heard many hikers say that they felt like a trail picked them or called them to hike it. Do you feel like the CDT had, or CDT, did it again? The CT had called you to walk on its journey?
Uh, yes and no. I mean, I feel more like I picked that trail, but I feel like I was kind of destined to do it. Just the idea of walking from Denver to Durango just seemed more like a pilgrimage and something that I wanted to do. I wish my dad had been alive to share it with me, but yeah, it's just something that I've grown up, off and on all my life in Colorado, going there and vacationing and such. And it was um it was something that I guess a little of both. It called me and I called it.
Nice. Cool. Yeah, I can see that. Definitely kind of a mutual thing. Colorado is a magical state. I got to spend quite a bit of time there with my dad growing up. We did a long road trip out west and saw some really cool places. So I could definitely understand the draw to Colorado. I think it's got some magical spots. And the videos I've watched of yours already, absolutely looked gorgeous. So yeah, I'm a little jealous. That looked like it was an amazing experience.
Oh, it only gets better on the videos.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm trying to get caught up. I've still got a few more to go, but
Well, they're still
uh,
coming out. They'll be coming out through October.
awesome. I'm looking forward to it. I've
Yeah.
always really appreciated your videos. The thing I really appreciate about your videos is just how down to earth and open and honest they are. You just come across as very genuine as you are. And it's just really fun to kind of be able to see your experience and kind of sharing that. And one thing I saw that was really cool was when you were talking about the aspens. I think it was in the second video, first or second video, you were talking about the aspens and about your connection to the aspens, and I thought that was a really cool kind of moment to capture.
Yeah, this was had a lot of stuff happen on this trail. Our family pet passed away
I'm
while I was
sorry.
on it, and that was a tough time. I didn't think about getting off, and my wife told me don't get off. There's nothing you can do here. So she was very, very supportive on this trail. In fact, we kept in communication by Garmin. And before I would go into Trail Town, I would message her ahead of time and she would book the reservations.
Oh wow.
So that worked out real well.
This is your own little personal trail attendant and trail angel.
Oh, she's a good trail angel.
Awesome. Well, it's definitely important. I think it's a lot something people get missed is the people kind of behind the scenes, the support group, because I don't think people would be able to do these long trails if it wasn't for support of their family and friends. So, uh, you know,
I had a lot of people support me and rooting for me. There was Miller and Debbie with the Mad Hippies, and David from David on Earth, and Tiff, and Snapbox and Details. They were very supportive through all this.
that's awesome. Yeah, it definitely takes they say it takes a village to raise a child. I think it also takes a village to encourage a hiker, especially a through hiker.
Yeah,
So,
sometimes there's times when you question what the hell am I doing out here? You know?
yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think people who don't experience it or haven't, they don't really easily understand why people are drawn to do these kind of things because on paper it comes across as being kind of a miserable experience. But I think until you experience those moments that those magical moments on trail that cause you to go out and do those things, and um, it's hard to kind of equate why people do these kind of things.
Well, I love multi-day trips. I'm a backpacker, just a backpacker by heart, and I like those 6, 7, 8 day trips. And this isn't my first dabbling in through hiking, but you know, sometimes I think the jury's still out on that because I've still got plans for many multi-day trips. I just locked the lower mileage, which I did on this trip because after I hurt my knee in March, I had originally planned on, getting this done in 30 days, 28 days, something like that. And when I realized with my knee, I was going to have to slow it down. I went to we had a 16-mile day, that was good, but tens, that was fine too. So I had no deadline and just wanted to slow roll it.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta get out and enjoy that journey as it presents itself. And
I always
um,
spent a lot of time in towns, and just the people I met is really the key thing on the trail. I met some really cool, good people.
awesome. That kind of goes into my next question. What was your favorite part of the hike?
Uh, the climbs, the views, and then the people.
Awesome, cool.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I was walking through my own backyard. All of the towns that I visited, I had been there at one time or another, and it was just interesting to see how much they've changed. But then to get to stay in the hostels and meet the people that live there, that was really cool. And the shuttlers, yeah,
Awesome. Yeah, trail angels are amazing, and it is really
yeah.
cool to see how a different perspective of places that you've already kind of been through. Because it's one thing to drive through a town, but then to actually walk to that town from a distance, I feel like creates a whole different appreciation for that place in your mind. Um, did you feel that way?
Yeah, and the CT towns are everybody knows what you're doing, and they're all supportive. And a lot of those towns aren't just CT towns; they're CDT towns too.
Hmm.
So there's there's a pretty good organization established, uh, for people to contact, things like that, and resources. So I like that. That was good.
Awesome.
That was
Well,
something I haven't experienced on other trails, not to that extent.
yeah, I think, if especially if you have, only hiked like weekend trips or something where you're basically just kind of going out on your own for those few days and not experiencing like an actual trail town experience, I think it can be kind of an enlightening thing because especially on those long trails, it seems like so many people are just so supportive and really kind of brings out, I think, the best in humanity that just set that idea of helping a person out who's on this awesome journey is really cool.
And you need to get out there and experience the weather like I did, because I mean, when you have no choice, we kind of want to go out on those 4 or 5 day trips and kind of work it around the weather. But when you're doing something like this and you're 6 miles in on your objective for the day, and you have a storm that comes in that's lightning and hailing on you when you're going up a pass, you got to tell yourself, I'm going to have to go back 3 miles because that's the last place below tree line
Oh,
where I'm
wow.
sheltered for the night. And that's kind of that cuts you down a little bit, knowing when you get up the next morning, you've got to make up those 3 or 4 miles before you even. I mean, most hikers will understand that.
Mhm.
Especially when you're on a through hike, you don't not like to do any miles or give up any miles that you've already put in. Those are hard worked miles when you're going from like 10,000 to 12,000 feet, and you're going to have to drop back down 2,000 feet, and know you're going to have to do it the next morning. And the next morning, when you're soaked and everything's wet, because it rained on you all night and all that afternoon,
Oh, wow.
it's a whole different kind of hiking experience.
Yeah, I can imagine. I've done a few like past hikes where, we had to continue on because
Mm.
of our vehicle being on the other side of the mountains. And that's exactly what you said. Like, there have been a couple times where we've had to turn around and it's a whole different experience when you have to kind of re-hike that trip that you just made. But you know, the alternative being trying to ride out a storm at 11,000 feet is not an appetizing one.
No, and in some places we experienced like 60-mile-an-hour winds, but thank goodness it wasn't during a storm. It was just I don't know what happened that day. We were on the Continental Divide, and we're pretty sure the winds were 50 to 60 miles an hour. And you'll see it in one of the videos. It was just we were glad that the wind was in our face and not hitting us from the back, which would have blown us off the side of the mountain
Oof.
where we were at. It was just, yeah, you have to see it in the video.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah, nothing more terrifying than having any kind of weather come in when you're just like super exposed and you feel that vulnerability, if you will, in that moment. That can
That
be
was a perfectly clear day, but all day long, 50 plus mile an hour winds. That was
that.
prior to us getting a Monarch Pass.
Wow. Yeah, that those kind of winds will just suck the energy right out of you.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, so yeah, so what you think was the hardest part or the worst part of the hike for you?
The hardest part was coming to terms that I'm gonna have to give it up this year. That was the hardest part. I thought it would be the climbs and everything. While those were hard, I had to teach myself on those big climbs when you're 16 to 20% grades and things like that, just slow and steady. You're going to get there. You'll get to the top. Just that mindset of I'm just going to push on through this and get up there real quick. No, 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 no. You'll find out real quick that's not going to happen, especially any flatlanders out there. I'm telling you, slow and steady.
Slow and steady wins the race. Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
I mean, I was working out in the gym for well over a year before I did this hike. And I'll tell you, working out at the gym's not going to make you hike any faster or be any stronger. What it does make you do is recuperate the next day, just like nothing. I mean, there's not a day that I woke up on this trip to where I had any problem walking, no hiker hobble, no stuff like that. Do those stair climbers, and they'll help every time.
That's great advice. I hadn't even thought of that, but I could definitely see where, that would make a big difference because if your body's already used to recuperating after working out and bouncing back, but essentially it's just you're trading your workout equipment for a workout trail.
Yeah, I mean, the feeling of getting up the next day and just be ready to go, not being sore is just amazing.
Awesome. Well, I will definitely take that to heart for my upcoming adventure, which I've talked about a little bit on my trail or my
Yeah,
channel, the route that I created, and we are moving forward with that. I think we're going to do that next year. That's our window. I think it's going to be a lot shorter. I think we're doing 160 some miles.
that'll be
Um,
great.
yeah, I'm excited for it. We're gonna have a trail town, so we're gonna get to be able to experience that as well. And the community out here that because I work in the industry out here, has been pretty supportive. So it's gonna be awesome. So I will definitely take that to heart and spend this upcoming winter conditioning myself for it. So I definitely appreciate that insight.
Well, just walk.
Yeah, that's
Just
true. Just walk. It's the best way
walk.
to prepare for it. So, along those lines, any other lessons that you learned while you're on the trail? Just insights to life in general, or
No, I mean, there was a guy that I met named trail name was Moose Pop. About hey Moose Pop, if you're watching this, I met him about 3 miles in on the trail, and he was in his early 70s.
wow,
And I was thinking, can I do this? But to see him put his effort forward every day, and he had told me he had hiked a little bit, some section hiking on the AT, but he said it was nothing like this. Of course, the climbs may be the same on the AT, but it's that elevation that makes the difference. And he stuck through it. He got off trail in Salada, but he told me that he got everything he wanted to out of the trail. So, but he was an inspiration, even though when I told him that, he would admit to it. He kept telling me the same thing. But yeah, it was good to see somebody come out there and not knowing too much about the trail and just tackling it head on.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's an amazing accomplishment. It's funny how you meet those people and you think, "Oh my gosh, this guy's, so awesome," and they end up being typically like the most humble, you know, uh, person out there that doesn't want to necessarily see it themselves, but, good on him for getting out there and just, doing it.
Yeah, he's a
And
tough old bird. He had a career in collegiate. He was a collegiate coach at
oh,
several different
nice.
universities, so he made for interesting conversation.
I bet. Well, it's
Yeah,
awesome that you got to meet somebody that early on in the trail that you just kind of experienced that thing with. It looked like you guys had a lot of fun out there.
yeah. He was from Pennsylvania, a Yankee and a Texan.
That's awesome. Well, I'm from Ohio. I'm a Yankee myself, and as we've discussed before, my parents actually live pretty close to you. They moved to Texas a
Yeah,
few
yeah,
years ago,
yeah,
so hopefully one of these days when I go down to visit them, we'll get a chance to meet you.
yeah. We'll have to get out there to the grasslands.
Oh yeah, I would love to do some of that. I've watched a lot of your videos and stuff, and looks like an amazing place to hike.
Yeah, it's just cow country, but you know, I guess that had me prepared for the cow country and on the CT because I had no problems out there. Yeah,
Awesome.
drinking cow pee water, no problem.
Yeah. All of our experiences prepare us for the next round, so that's
Yeah,
awesome. That's the thing. It's funny. We always tend to look at different places as being like, so much more um, attractive, but I feel like every area has its own unique, charm and
definitely.
attractiveness. And I have had just as nice and fun of backpacking trips in the Midwest as I have out here. Of course, I had the opportunity to move out here to Montana and I jumped on it, but I feel like there's always an opportunity to enjoy the woods no matter where you are.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Well, you have anything else that you wanted to throw out there before we wrap up?
No, just looking forward to sometime meeting you and us getting on trail.
Yeah, man, I would absolutely love that, and I really appreciate you coming on. For those of you who may not have checked out Jerry's channel yet, you definitely should. Jerry, what was the name of your channel again?
Tangent Trails, 2 words.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely give him a look. His videos are great, and he's just got that nice Southern charm working for him there in the videos, and just a lot of fun to listen to. So, um, Jerry, I just want to thank you again so much for coming on. I was really excited to get a chance to talk to you because, like I said, I was really following your journey, and just really appreciate the support that you've given really a lot of us in this community.
Well, I appreciate you having me on. Yeah, this is a great community. I enjoy supporting everybody I can.
Yeah, well, you do a great job. You're one of those people that everybody's like every time you log in for one of the live videos, everybody's like Jerry. So
Well, I got to get caught up because I've been gone for 2 months.
yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. So well, look forward to seeing you again, both on the internet and in person. So thanks again for coming
Okay.
on.
Oh, thank you.
All right, have a great night.
You too.